But gonna get started. Uh, I'm happy this time. I'm not going to be doing the whole thing in fancy country or whatever, because since we're going back to the perspective of Ichi, I believe. So as doing a specific voice the whole time is a bit something. Fun for a bit, but after that, wait, what was that sound? Oh. Tsumihoroboshi, the first fall, atonement chapter. What's your reasoning toward the truth coming along? The next tragedy is ready for you. Enjoy. This is a humorous story with a tragic struggle at the end. The difficulty is 0. You can just enjoy the clowns milling about. Dang, it's loud this time. The first time I would try harder to avoid the inevitable tragedy. The second time I would be disgusted with the inevitable tragedy. The third time my disgust would turn into anguish. The 7th time, I'd be laughing by then. Frederica Burst something. The chorus of the Higurashi had replaced that of the cicadas. Wait, they're different? Okay, hold up. I thought cicadas and Higurashi were the same thing. Alright, now I have to check this, otherwise it's gonna bug me. Of course, the anime is what pops up, or this game / the anime. Okay. The word Higurashi is the name of a kind of cicada. Okay, so it's... But then what's with this? I'm confused. Yeah, and even the... Thanks, game. You've already confused me. Just a second. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, the chorus of the Higurashi had replaced that of the cicadas. The cries came from a distance, echoed loudly, and then faded away. They sounded so weak and fragile. Reina's voice was just like the cries of the Higurashi. She'd say something, but the words would quickly fade away. She sounded so fragile that it made me worry she might vanish into thin air along with her words. But nobody is pressuring her to continue. Mion dusted off the hood of an abandoned car and sat down on it as if to show how relaxed she was. She actually did look very relaxed, as if she came here to enjoy the cool breeze of the evening or something. Satoko followed Mion's example and sat down as well. She didn't look nearly as relaxed, however. I thought about following suit, but it felt rude to look away from Reina even for the short time it would take to look for a place to sit down, so I decided to remain standing. Rika-chan didn't sit down either, but she wasn't looking at Reina. Everybody else was looking at Reina, but Rika-chan was looking at the red sky. Rika-chan's expression was hard to describe. She looked pale and blank at the same time, as if all of her emotions were gone. Reina wore the same kind of expression. She kept trying to say something, but it seemed like the words were stuck in her throat. She noticed Rika-chan looking at the sky, so she decided to look that way as well. Mion did the same. So did I. Satoko looked that way too. And with that, there was silence. It was like we were in a concert hall, filled with the chorus of the Higurashi. A concert hall with the highest roof in the world. A refreshingly cool breeze tickled our sweaty bodies. I could almost make myself believe we came here to enjoy the breeze and the sunset. I could only wish that was what we came here for. The shadows of the birds flying across the sky soured the feeling of our quiet concert. They reminded us that time hadn't stopped. Nobody wanted to pressure Reina. We didn't want time to pressure her either. We wanted to keep the cool red sky as long as we could, so Reina could calm down and talk. Right then, I heard a sound and it brought us all back to reality. The hood Mion was sitting on had made a noise when she moved across her legs. I don't know whether Mion made the noise on purpose or not, but it reminded us that time had been passing by. The noise took our attention away from the sky and back to the ground. Such a tasteless noise seemed to have urged Reina to speak. Reina heaved a small sigh, nodded as if she understood something, and looked at us like she always did. There's one thing I want to say before anything else. She was probably saying it to everybody. Since I'm standing in the middle with her looking at me, I nodded to her to represent our agreement. I think I did the right thing. Her voice wasn't hoarse anymore. She sounded just like she always did. I wonder how much we're allowed to struggle in order to be happy. Sounded like a question. Nobody answered. That's why I really like Mi-chan's club. The one rule is to do whatever it takes to win, right? I think that's wonderful. We were only allowed to do nice things, and if there was a limit to how much we could struggle, people who aren't happy wouldn't be able to seize happiness at all. Misfortunes are like a chain reaction, I think. Once they begin, they're very, very hard to escape. In order to escape the chain of misfortunes, You need more than just luck or even assistance. Oh, thank you very much for the fluid check, North Kells. Thank you for coming back by. I think you need to struggle as hard as you possibly can. You need to do your best. That's how you seize true happiness. That's what I believe. Reina stopped talking, looked up, heaved a sigh, and opened her mouth again. But, not saying that I expect you to accept what I did. I know that was a very bad thing to do. Didn't you all look stunned a while ago? That tells me everything. I've never seen her smile so self-derisively like this. That smile looked unbelievably painful. I could really feel how huge the distance between us was. There's nothing physically there, but I felt as if she's talking to us through iron bars or a chain-link fence. That's how great the distance between us was. But it's okay. There's nothing we can do about it. It's just how things are in this world. If I were you, I'd probably look just as stunned. And I'd say something irresponsible and merciless. She probably said that to hit back at us. Just putting on a mask of sympathy, enjoying the spectacle of a clown on a stage. That's why she said that. She probably expected us to say something in return, but none of us knew what to say. Reina looked disappointed for a moment, then turned and clambered on top of an abandoned car. Then she spread her arms out and gave a little twirl, letting her skirt billow up before she grabbed both ends and gave us a graceful curtsy. Well then, are you ready for a story? This is the story of how Reina Ryugu did her best. There was no curtain or spotlight. She was atop an abandoned car amidst the trash piles, stage specially made for her. We tried not to miss a word of what she was about to say. We believed that was the last we could do to not hurt her feelings. That was the least we could do, not to hurt her feelings. Chapter 6. Tsumihoroboshi. Higurashi. When they cry, Kai. Wait, does this mean I'm doing the whole thing in Reina's voice? I don't want to do a special voice. I'm sorry, I did it last time. Let's say it's a winter month like December right now. What would you do if all of a sudden you had a week of hot and humid days with crying cicadas? You still wear your coat and scarf? Absolutely not, right? Even though it's still June, it's already summer to us, since we've been having hot days for so long. So it's totally okay to do this kind of club activity in June. At my school, everybody usually does what they want in PE class, but today would be an exception. All my classmates were gathered in the schoolyard. Neon looked over everybody gathered there, then spoke up loudly. Hey everyone, you ready? Yeah! They all raised the water guns in their hands. It's okay to use water guns in June, because it's been so hot and humid. All my classmates were joining in, so it's gonna be a big water gun battle. I'm so excited. It is so exciting to do a club activity with everyone from class. Yeah, it's going to be so much fun to play outside with everybody together. Together. It's going to be fun for them. We have to be serious, as we can't lose. Well, yeah, for us club members, every game comes with a risk. Exactly. I look forward to the punishment our more careless members are going to suffer. Good luck, everyone. So pumped. Everybody listen up. You all check your guns. Are your tanks full? We're all ready, my Bara-san. We're very good at gun battles. Omita and his friends play with water guns a lot. They might have an advantage. We're different men today. Tomita-kun and Akamura-kun smiled confidently, holding their guns in a practiced manner. I have an inkling on where this might be going in a second, but, yeah. Their skills must get them confidence. They even look different. As we all know, Mion is going to be a tough opponent. I think Satoko and Rika-chan could be too. What about you, Reina? You can move fast, but you could end up being their target as well, so be careful. You've been losing a lot of games lately and taking most of the punishments. Oh, it's just that the recent games weren't my specialty. But Keiji-kun, think you've been losing a lot these days too, haven't you? You have no idea how miserable I was when I had to go home wearing a bra and my mom saw me in right before I was about to take it off. Oh. My last punishment was as terrible as yours. I'm ruined for marriage after having to do that. Wait, hold up. That sounded... Oh. I got... what I have to say is, Satoko laughed at us loudly while we were shuddering at the memory of the cruel punishments we suffered in the past. Oh, 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 oh. You've been low on both luck and spirit. I know why you've been losing so frequently. That's because, you see, you're both losers. She's right. Once you get used to losing, you just can't stop. After all those losses, your fighting spirit fades away. When you can't believe in yourself, nothing goes right, even if you're doing the same thing as everyone else. You. Haven't you realized that Reina and I took those punishments on purpose? Because we wanted to spare you that fate. You should be thanking us, not calling us losers. Oh, is that so? Very sorry for not thanking you enough then. Satoko, you just added oil to the flames of my rage. I'll make you regret what you just said. That's the spirit, Kei-chan. This old man hopes you can at least last long enough to serve as entertainment. Reina, you too. You'd be embarrassed if you were the first one to get shot. But I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. I too think Reina is going down first. Prepare yourself for a bad time. No, Mi-chan, Satoko-chan, you're so mean. Reina and Keiichi, go for it. Yay! Wait, I have a thing for that. There we go. Mion and Satoko laughed at us as loud as they could, then moved on to tease their next target. Left alone, all I could do was stomp on the floor in anger. Damn it. Going to win. I can't them laugh at me like that again. I agree. It feels bad to have them laugh at us like that. It's not only how it feels, it's also how they step on my pride. Damn it. Like Michan said, it might be true that you can't stop losing once you get used to it. That's why we have to win today, no matter what, so we can get even. Rena's eyes looked different. She's usually a funny and weird person, but I know she has the determination to do what she needs to. When Reina looks like this, she can be a tough opponent. Today I'll follow the first club rule. I'm going to do everything I can to win. No, wait, oh wait. I think that was Keiichi when he said that. Okay, now this would be Reina. Oh, sound determined. Sound cool. Also, I've been going easy on them before. Reina smiled. Maybe you could have called it a wicked grin. She was serious. She was serious about what she said. I could tell that from her expression alone. Among all the club members, Reina is easily the most sensible one. The rule of our club is that we can do anything in order to win, but she's the only one who has moral qualms about it. That's why we rarely have a hard time against her, except for when she snaps. It's rare to hear her say that she won't go easy. Damn it. When you grin like that, you leave me no choice. I have to be super serious about this too. Always have to fight with all I have in our club, but I believe there's a time when I have to get super serious about it. I think today is the time. Indeed, yes. We pounded our fists together. Usually when we really don't want to lose the game, one asks the other to work together, but Reina didn't ask this time, which meant that she was going to try to defeat everybody by herself. No, not try. She was going to do it by herself. Reina looked really cool at that moment, but I wasn't scared. She was seriously going to do it. I'd have to be serious and do it too. My fighting spirit had been dented after many losses, but it had begun to burn hot once more. You look good too, Keiichi-kun. You're even scaring me a little. You look like you're going to defeat everybody all by yourself. I know that's what you're going to do too. That means we're going to fight against each other at the very end. We would if we defeated everybody else. I hope you'll be the last one I have to fight against. Yeah, me too. We pounded our fists together again. Does everyone remember the rules? You have to call it out when you get hit. Once you're hit, you can't shoot anyone. Even if you did, it wouldn't count. Mion, I'd like to confirm the definition of being hit one last time. When somebody shoots you with a water gun, you're hit. I'll break it down more for you, Kei-chan. You're only hit when it's water from a water gun. In other words, you're not hit when somebody splashes you with a bucket of water. Only direct shots from a water gun count. I'm sure you're not so scared of Satoko's trap attacks now, huh? She could still rig a water gun trap. She said no one... You're probably thinking that I might be a little bit over this, but those that maybe they've seen this one before, don't put anything past these kids. They can be monsters. I will still have many kinds of traps ready for you. Yep. I bet it's gonna happen. Also stuff that could basically trap you to render you immobile. So that you would be easy pickings. Reina-san, you'll be my first target. Haha, I don't think so. You're not strong enough to take me down yet. What did you just say? Oh, I can't believe Reina gave Satoko tit for tat. This is going to be fun. Don't you think so, Kei-chan? I don't think so. At least not for you. Because all you'll be doing is choosing which of us is going to shoot you first. Keiichi seems determined to win. Neon seemed to sense the fighting spirit in me and Reina. I could tell that she's as serious as we are, from the way she looks. All right, I like your spirit. You all ready to start? Everybody, get to your positions. The ones you drew by lot earlier. Everybody had to draw lots to pick a place to start the game from. It wouldn't be fun if everybody was close together at the beginning of the game. By the way, my starting position was behind the school building. When I drew this starting position, I thought about hiding until there were only a few people left like I did in our last game of tag. But a defensive tactic like that wasn't interesting to me anymore. I hadn't been this excited in a long time. My legs were shaking with excitement. My first time experiencing that kind of feeling. I could hear Mion's countdown from some distance away. 3, 2, 1. A single shot of a toy pistol echoed. That sound, I was already running around the building. There had to be some underclassmen nearby. I'd usually assume that somebody else would take care of him, but this time was different. They stood frozen in fear as I ran towards them, screaming at the top of my voice. It took a moment to decide quickly whether to fight or to run away. In that moment, I shot one after another. Sorry, guys. You just got unlucky with where you started. Felt bad for them because they lost the game so quickly, so I rubbed their heads to cheer them up, then took their water guns. Yes, that was the key factor in this game. You can't put very much water in a water gun. 10 people around you in a gun battle, the water would be gone in a minute. I abandoned the gun I used to shoot them, held one of their guns in each hand, and scoped out the schoolyard. Just like I expected, there was an intense battle happening there. The short time it took me to take care of the area behind the school building, it seems like most of my classmates were already shot. I wasn't surprised, though. I kind of knew it happened. You need to have a high skill to fight in the open schoolyard, especially when most of the club members were there. It must have been like a battle of elephants and ants. What is that Mion is holding? Mion was holding a different water gun from the one she had when the game started. She was now holding one that looked like a huge machine gun. That's right, she didn't specify in the rules or whatever on... Yeah, as long as it's not specified that you can't do something in the rules with them, then you can do it. And even then, that's kind of, more of a, if you do something in Thurls, don't get caught. Other club game activities. Its range capability, its pump action shooting, and the amount of water it can hold were way beyond comparison. There were no restrictions on what kind of water guns we could use today. As long as it's a water gun, you're allowed to use any kind. Most of us have a normal pistol-style water gun from a local toy store or something similar. I would have bought a bigger one like Mion's if they had one. But they weren't in stock and I'd have to order it in. In other words, Mion ordered hers a long time ago just for today. She's always well prepared when it comes to winning. She must have thought that we wouldn't allow her to use the big water gun if she showed it off before the game started, so she must have hidden it somewhere. It looks like most of our classmates were shot right after the game started. Only a few were still alive, trying to survive as long as they could by using the heavy construction equipment as a shield. Mion mercilessly shot at them from various angles, to make them come out from behind the shield. Stop hiding, cowards! Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun were trying their best to resist her attack from behind their shield. It looked they had no chance against her. But that actually wasn't true. After all, the two of them were only still alive because of all their experience in water gun battles. They survived the first few minutes of her assault, even though 99% of her classmates didn't. They were still surviving at that very moment. Mion, however, is also a battle-hardened soldier. She used the advantage of her big water tank and gradually but certainly drove them into a corner. It was only a matter of time until she broke them down. We're cornered. It's not fair that she has a machine gun. We have to do survive till her tank runs low. Don't stand a chance against her when she's shooting at us like this. They tried to hold out against her, but all they could do for now was to keep running behind cover as Mion strafed closer and closer to them. They wanted to use their 2 against 1's advantage, but it seemed like they wouldn't even get that chance. They tried attacking recklessly. One of them might get shot, and the other would have no chance of winning. So they grew more cautious, placing their bets on their final chance, but that caused their offense to wane. Of course, Mion saw through their plan. He was purposely provoking them so that they'd lose their patience and start attacking her recklessly. Mion circled around the construction equipment. Now she was standing with her back towards me. If I went up against her machine gun fair and square, I wouldn't stand a chance. So, attacking from behind would be the only way for me to defeat her. Even though she was in a defenseless position, there was some distance between us. I was still too far away, but it would still be better to attack her now than to take her head on. Don't hesitate, Keiichi. You won't have this chance again. I stepped out from my hiding place and ran as fast as I could towards her with 2 water guns in my hands. Instead of approaching slowly and intently, I screamed at the top of my lungs. Hiya! Mion! What? There you are, Kei-chan. Mion seemed a little shocked by my surprise attack, but she immediately pulled herself together. She knew the advantages of her weapon. But she didn't shoot me just yet. She held back, luring me closer. Mion was well aware of how much water she had left. If she had the same kind of water gun as me, would have had the same range capability. So, would have been down to our technique to decide the winner. She was fighting against one of her underclassmen. She could have defeated them easily. Mion immediately calculated her chance of winning against me, and figured out that her only chance was to use the advantage of her water gun. She saw the eye of the tiger in me, and recalculated her chances of winning in a split second. Really, I can admire how fast she does those things. I ran at top speed to shorten the distance between us. Our strength should have been equal. I had 2 water guns with full tanks. She had a machine gun with a half-empty tank. We both waited for the perfect moment. Your fighting spirit deserves my respect, Kei-chan. Not sure if I would have been a match for you today if I didn't have this gun. I'm disappointed in you, Mion. Your calculations are off today. Did you say you thought you could beat me? Because you don't stand a chance. The moment we stepped within range, Mion and I pulled our triggers at the same time. Mion set her sight squarely on me while I was trying to shoot and run at the same time. Her shot would obviously be more accurate than mine. My shot of water flew towards nowhere. Mion didn't even need to duck. Mion's shot made a beautiful arc straight towards my chest. I could see the line of water coming straight at me, but I was too unstable to dodge. Mion had no doubt that she got me. You need more than spirit to defeat me. I know you'd be the first to go down. I'm still disappointed in you, Mion. Your calculations are really off today. Bullshit. You can't dodge that shot. Go straight through you and you'll regret the moment you chose to come at me screaming rather than creeping up from behind. You're really disappointing me today, Mion. You could have figured it out if you'd spend just one more second to think. Could have figured out the reason why I didn't creep up on you, but screamed as loud as I could instead. It's so the other two could get her. Mion noticed my surprise attack and turned around to face me. In other words, she turned her back on the opponent she was fighting earlier. These opponents heard my scream and saw that she had turned her back on them. What's this? Mion noticed her back was wet and cold. She finally understood that the underclassmen she was attacking just earlier had shown their fangs and attacked her from behind. I blocked her water shot with my arm right before it hit my chest. The line of water was broken into droplets and splattered away. Damn it! Got hit first, so my shot didn't count. You took too long to figure it out. Now get down, Mion. Mion squatted down and covered her head. Now it was me versus Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun. Their reflexes weren't so bad. They knew well that I'd be their next target after Mion was gone. They didn't feel sorry at all for attacking me right after I just saved them from their predicament. I can respect the cruelty and how quickly they shifted gears. They may one day be able to join our club. They could keep refining their sense and skill. Our next target is Maibara-san. Let's get him. It's 1 against 2. We can take him. They were, however, one step behind me. It was already too late. For them, Mion was their first target and I was next. But I was different. My first target was them from the start. I didn't even see Mion as my target to begin with, because I knew they'd take care of her. I was pointing at my guns at them long before they moved their sights from Mion to me. It seemed like they noticed at the last moment that both of my guns had been pointing at them from the beginning, which meant it was already too late for them. Hooah! Jumped over Mion, rolled on the ground, and landed on my feet. I looked as elegant as an athlete who had just finished a perfect performance. I had a gun in each of my hands, and with those guns I shot them each in the middle of their chests. So fast. How could the two of us lose against one? Blah. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun fell to their knees in disappointment. I can't believe you did all this, Kei-chan. I guess I'm off today, like you said. Mion wiped the dirt off her knees, looking frustrated. Don't worry, it wasn't you. Then, why did I lose? That's simple. I twirled my guns on the tips of my fingers. I have to win sometimes in order to keep looking so cool. There were only a few people left alive. Reina, Satoko, and myself. Reina and Satoko were fighting fiercely. They evenly matched? No. Satoko was pushing her hard. Moving fast, she was driving Reina into a corner. Reina was usually gentle and slow, but today she was different. She was very serious today, and yet Satoko was still overwhelming her. She's a tough customer, even without her tricky traps. Do you remember threatening me earlier? I suppose you were just bluffing. You move well. I'm still going to win. Satoko kept moving around, piling on pressure in order to pin Reina down. She kept shooting, so her tank must have almost been empty. Her shots were still sharp and fast. I noticed a bucket near her feet. It was full of mini water guns. I understood, seeing that she had been taking guns from others who were already out of the game. In this battle, reloading bullets, water, is more crucial than the actual shooting. The hole that you put water into one of these guns is rather small. Put water from a faucet takes time and requires a certain amount of skill. A battle like this, it would be almost suicidal. I understand that well, though I've been taking guns from the people I defeated, but I could only hold one in each hand. Satoko used a bucket to overcome the limit. Hi, Foxlove. You came in, they're already shooting each other. Reina looked like she only had one water gun. I'd assume she had two earlier, but she must have used a lot of water during her long battle with Satoko. It looked like she was trying to save her water for the right moment. Oh, thank you for the fluid check. But with Satoko's fierce attacks, it was obvious that it was only a matter of time before Reina was driven into a corner. You actually have a thing written. Nice. However, Reina is also quite skilled. She only pretended to be driven into a corner, but she was actually luring Satoko to a place where she'd have the advantage. There was a narrow, twisting path near the gymnasium warehouse behind the school building. Reina's water level's running low. She'd want to turn things around with a single, close-range shot. That narrow path was a perfect place for her to do that. What's wrong? You're slowing down a little. Getting tired? I appreciate your concern, but I'm not tired at all. I think you should worry more about your remaining water. You haven't shot back at me for a while. Your tank is empty, I suppose. If you think so, why don't you stop hiding and show your face? I will pass. I'm aware you've been holding on to your last shot. One shot is all I need. I'll be nice and shoot you in the forehead. I don't want to get your clothes wet after all. I never imagined I would have such a thrilling battle with you, Reina-san. However, the amount of water you have remaining, I doubt you have enough pressure to make that last shot go far. Satoko was right about that. Reina had just enough water to make one last shot. As the amount of water left in the tank dwindles, the range of shots you can make shortens. That makes the last shot the shortest and weakest of them all. Regardless of her absolutely disadvantageous situation, Reina didn't look frustrated. I could tell she had no intention to lose. It was almost like she didn't even see Satoko as a threat. You picked a perfect location for yourself, did you not? I have to tread cautiously. Satoko seemed to understand how dangerous Reina's last shot was going to be better than I did, since she was the one actually fighting against her. I don't play chess very often, but I believe this kind of situation is called a stalemate, is it not? Satoko took out another gun with a full tank, shortened the distance between them slowly and carefully. A gun with a full tank doesn't only have a long range, it also has enough power to make shots more accurate. If they shot each other in a frontal attack, Satoko would have a 99% chance to win. Even so, Satoko was still afraid of Reina's last shot. Satoko shortened the distance even further, smiling as if unafraid, but I could tell she was actually full of fear. Satoko compared this situation to chess earlier, but it wasn't exactly the same. In chess, you can use some pieces to drive the opponent's king into a corner, but in this case, there was only Reina and Satoko. You can lose some of your pieces in order to achieve a win, but Satoko doesn't have any pieces other than herself. A king can't drive the other king into a corner alone. That's called a stalemate. That's why, while at first glance it looks like Satoko has the absolute advantage, they're actually on equal footing. Let us finish this. It's not like us to wait for the bell to bring an end to this battle. You're right. Let's do this. That's strange, I thought. Reina wouldn't have to move just on a dare from Satoko. What kind of plan did she have? Reina had been hiding behind cover for a while. She came out without hesitation. I noticed something right away. Reina had a different gun. Satoko seemed to notice it as well. I had a plan to hide here when my water ran low. I hid a gun in advance. Damn, she's good. Using a trap at the last moment for a come-from-behind victory, it was as though she was taking Satoko's best skill from her and firing it right back. Satoko no longer had any advantages now that both of them were pointing their guns at each other with full tanks. But she still looked confident. What was going on? Did she have some kind of plan too? That gun you're holding right now is very important to me. What do you mean? You would have kept waiting for your perfect shot. You wouldn't have come out of hiding if you didn't have that gun. That moment, lightning ran through my brain and I instantly understood the situation. Of course. Reina was in a disadvantaged situation earlier, but it was actually the same for Satoko, since she didn't have a chance to make her shot while Reina was in hiding. Reina had remained cautious in order to hit her with her last shot. That made it difficult for Satoko to attack her. However, what if... Aw, thank you for hydrating Darjeeling over there. However, what if Reina didn't need to take the last shot for a come-behind victory? No, I said it wrong. But if Reina got a new gun with a full tank, she'd stop hiding and come out to fight against Satoko. You see, I knew from the beginning that you'd run over here in order... There. You see, I knew from the beginning that you'd run over here in order to obtain that gun. Let Satoko talk crap, Reina. You don't have to listen to her, just shoot her right now. Reina thought the same thing. She shot at Satoko without hesitation. But she frowned in confusion a moment after. Oh, snap. Satoko knew where she got the gun. It's empty. What's going on? She couldn't shoot? Is her water gun broken? Or did somebody break it? Didn't you know that you can easily break break a water gun by putting a little bit of sand in an empty tank and pulling the trigger several times? You knew I was hiding my trump card here and pulled a cheap trick like that, huh? I told you. You only set one small trap at the last moment. That is the beauty of traps. When it comes to traps, Satoko remained a notch above Reina after all. I couldn't believe Satoko figured out Reina's plan in advance and set a trap to counter it. Reina, you made a big mistake. You should have kept the old gun with you. Could have at least made that last shot. But it's too late now for you to pick it up again. Reina was in a worse situation than she was before. She couldn't even take another shot. Be prepared. You told me earlier that you'd shoot me in the forehead, did you not? Well, I will be at least kind enough to do you the same favor. Satoko slowly narrowed her distance again and pointed the muzzle at Reina's forehead. Is Reina gonna do a John McClane thing and, like, pull out a tape gun from her back? Like, blam blam! Reina still didn't look like she'd given up. She still thought the game was undecided. Satoko-chan, you're not as good as you think you are. What did you say? If you got me with your trap, it'd be your right as the winner to allow yourself the room to breathe and smile like you're doing right now. But all you've done is drive me into a tough spot. You haven't killed me yet. Don't you think it's a little too early for you to act like you've already got me? I thought you were going to say something much scarier than that. It makes no difference, because I'm going to get you right now. If I were you, I'd just shoot rather than keep talking. You know why? Because if I didn't, I'd lose. Lose? You talking about me? I highly doubt that you can fight with a jammed water gun. Do you remember the rule? You're hit when it's water from a water gun. She's gonna throw... Oh... She's gonna pop open, like, the little cap thing and just flat out throw the gun at her to splash her with it. Because it's still water from a water gun. It's just not fired from it. Huh? So what are you saying? When I heard her say that, I started running. My target was Reina. Satoko was already dead to me. Why? She was going to be shot by Reina within the second. I have absolutely no idea what you're referring to, Reina-san. What do you think you can do with the jammed water gun? As long as I have water in my gun, I can still fight. Don't you get it yet? Reina raised her broken water gun up high and smashed its handle on the wall of the school building as hard as she could. Or open it via smashing, that works too. The plastic broke easily and water flowed out of it. As long as the water from the gun hits you, you're dead. It doesn't matter where the water comes out. Reina was right. She just saved herself by thinking it through. She was using a real gun. Bullets would only come out from one end of the gun. But this was a water gun. She could make her bullets, water in this case, come out from any place, not just the barrel of the gun. What? Satoko finally realized that she was standing defenselessly in front of Reina. Satoko's trap was successful, but she overestimated its effect. She should have just shot Reina without hesitation before Reina noticed her new water gun was jammed. She was going to fail because she had grown overconfident of her victory. A second before Satoko pulled the trigger, Reina swung her water gun as if slashing Satoko with a sword. Satoko fired her bullets. It was too late. A second before Reina would be shot, a blade of water hit Satoko in the face. No, not hit. It cut her face open. Your endgame wasn't good enough. I can't believe I lost. Reina ran towards Satoko, who was still standing in shock, and took her water gun. Reina knew I was her last target and that I was running towards her. Reina, using her superior mobility, began to duck and weave. We were evenly matched. Neither one of us neglected to make any effort possible to take advantage of the situation. I knew it'd end up being a one-on-one battle with you. I knew you wouldn't disappoint me. I'm seeing you in a new light today. I didn't know you had the guts. Other than a new light, I'd like you to see me in a romantic way. I can try if you let me win. No, thanks. We circled around the construction equipment, trying to take shots at each other. We were both sweating like crazy, but I didn't feel tired. Big drops of sweat tickled as they ran down my body. Wait, I think I have something for this situation. Hold on. I think it works, okay? I think it works. Rapid bursts of water flew across both our paths. Neither of us had the advantage or disadvantage. I didn't feel elated that I might win, or frustrated that I might lose. I was just enjoying this battle with Reina. It was like a dance that I couldn't dance alone. And if your friends don't dance, then they ain't no friends of mine. Haha, I make funny. I know, I'm hilarious. Reina sure is sharp when she gets serious. It's giving me chills. Keiichi-san is good too. He's evenly matched with her. I can't tell who's going to win. In fact, none of the observers could tell who was going to win. Neither could we. We had no idea who was going to win. We had no idea when this battle would end. I didn't know why, but it was great fun just to fight against Reina, and I didn't even care whether I won or lost. In fact, I never even wanted it to end. As we fired at each other, both of our tanks emptied, shortening our range. Inevitably, it became more and more like a melee than a gun battle. Fired our water guns as if trying to cut each other with blades of water, swinging the gun like a sword. Both came up with the idea to swing the gun hard to generate centrifugal force in order to increase the range of our attacks. I dived to duck her shot. I rolled in the ground and landed on my feet. I ducked her shot and swung my gun like a sword. Who could have imagined that our club's water gun battle would turn into one-on-one close combat like this? Absolutely nobody. Haha. Oh, you think so too, Reina? You too, Keiichi-kun? We're both breathing hard, calculating the timing we need to take a closer step. And then we both grinned wickedly at each other. This is so fun! I don't want it to ever end. Don't hate me if you lose. No, never. I'd hate myself for ending this game. But I know I wouldn't be the one crying in the end. I don't know about that. Your feet are getting weak, like they're made of straw. Shut up! Rah. Wow, they both look so cool. My bar-san, go! Yugo-san, you can get him! I became relaxed enough to enjoy the battle and finally realized that many of our classmates were watching our one-on-one fight. I barely had any water left. I would have to make the next shot count or I was done for. It seemed like Reina was in the same situation too. The next shot will decide it. I wish we could fill our tanks and keep doing this forever. Well, people enjoy things because they end eventually. Flowers are beautiful especially because they wither. I see. That's one way to look at it. It's been fun fighting against you. But this is it. Indeed. Sorry, but I'm going to end this battle. Good luck, Keiichi-kun. Don't cry when you lose. Let's do this. Hell yeah. Wah. Wow. Which one of them won? The cries of the cicadas echoed in the quiet school. They sounded like the hand of a watch ticking away the seconds. Neither one of us moved. Took our final shots, now stood motionless. It looked like one of those duels in Western movies. Hit the other first. Don't know, I couldn't see it. Our classmates broke the silence first. They finally realized that our intensely beautiful one-on-one battle was over. Class Press, it's your decision. Mion in turn realized she had to deliver a verdict to end the game. But she was just as stunned as the others for a moment to recover. Mion was taking time to render her verdict. In fact, Rain and I didn't know who won either. My last shot flew fast, flashed sideways as if a blade had cut her chest. I knew that for sure. The same moment, Raina's shot hit me in the shoulder. Whoever shot the other first wins. We didn't know if it was me or her. That's why we stood motionless, waiting for the verdict to be delivered. Did you see it, Rika? Can't tell. Last press. Won. Everybody held their breath, waiting for Mion to call it. Rain and I kept staring at each other. Spectators were the only ones who were interested in who the winner was. To us, it wasn't that important. We had a great battle. We had both really wanted to do better than the other. We both wanted to call it a tie. For this great battle, settling for a tie would be the best and most proper option. In other words, this one-on-one fight wasn't a battle to decide the winner. Seems like everybody is thinking the same way. Me? Yeah. You can't move if you don't deliver a verdict. Yeah. Mion hates to settle for a tie because she loves to draw a line between superiors and inferiors. She tends to settle for a tie when deciding who is the loser, because it's more fun to have as many people as possible suffer the punishment. She's never settled for a tie between winners before. Mion holds a special feeling towards the meaning of being number one. Everybody continued holding their breath, awaiting her verdict. Please make it a tie. Everybody wished for that in their hearts. Mion was hesitant. hesitating to make the decision. She could have chosen a winner more easily if one of us did even a little better than the other. But even if one of us did a little better than the other, I feel like nothing fits better than settling for a tie. The two of you did great today. Leon finally started speaking. Kei-chan and Reina, you've showed a significant spirit and skill today. The explosive power you showed us was so beautiful, and it's beyond even the highest praise I can ever give. It's very difficult for me to decide who the winner should be after watching such an amazing battle. Then, you mean we have two winners? I don't like to have two winners. That's not really the point of our club. However, they are both so good that it's very hard for me to decide who was better. So, I'm going to call it a tie for today. They'll have another battle some other time to decide the winner. I expected she might settle for a tie, but I never thought she'd make us have another battle. My Barasan, you were awesome. You're so cool. Yuko-san, you gave me chills. It's like, you set our hearts on fire. The classmates rushed towards us and praised us for showing them something that cool. Reina and I were finally released from the tension of battle and dropped to our knees. Oh, before I forget, actually, let me see. Those treats for Darjeeling are way too expensive. Okay. And then with that, I'll go ahead and refund your points, Raquel's. 1,000 is way too much. Aw, thank you for that, cow. Actually, just give me 1 second, sorry. And I almost forgot to unmute myself. Oh my goodness. Too bad. Tight. Yeah. I can't wait for our next battle. You give me your hand? Of course. Going to ask you the same thing. Both smiled at each other. It was the first time we ever hit it off like this. By the way, you're pretty good at that. What do you mean? Mii-chan, you're trying to get away without suffering the punishment, aren't you? She was just trying to sound cool, but the main reason she delivered that verdict was to protect herself. That's so like Mion, you know? Look! He's running away. It's like my guess was right. So obvious. Bell rang, sign that class was over, while we all laughed at Mion. After that... Good job out there, you two. Here, it's this towel. Rika-chan held out a towel, a big smile on her face. However, Rena and I stepped back and pointed our water guns at her. Meep. Already shot many times. Everybody, I was already hit, but nobody believes me. Rika-chan was soaking wet. Well, nobody believed her because she really could be that sneaky, pretending that she was hit in order to stay in the game. It's your own fault that nobody believes you. Sometimes it's hard to believe anything you say. Meep. Everybody is so mean to me. I feel lonely. I'm lonely like a poor kitten crying in a cardboard box because nobody wants her. Meep, meep. Boom. Sound came from Reina's head. I saw a circle of smoke coming out of it. Reina must have pictured Rika-chan meowing like a cat in a cardboard box. I've heard of a cat on a hot tin roof, but this is ridiculous. I'm sorry, that joke was dumb. Aww. Rika-chan is an abandoned kitten. I'm taking her home with me. Someone in chat gonna beat me to it? No? Okay. Reina, you're ruining how cool we looked earlier. Reina was back to her normal self and jumped on Rika-chan like a chameleon capturing its prey. Rika-chan struggles to get away. Come on, everyone. Get back to your classroom now. Jia-sensei clapped her hands and yelled at us from the window of the teacher's office. Let's go. Everyone exchanged smiles and ran back to the classroom. Receive new tips. A beautiful day. So like this.
It's a beautiful day and I can't...
I'm enjoying the little overlay thing. For the book. Okay, let's read this new tip. One reason I like my house is because it has good ventilation. As long as there's a nice breeze, I don't have to rely on a fan to keep me cool. I can take down my futon from the windowsill, place my cushion near the open window, enjoy the cool breeze in the evening. According to my page-a-day calendar, it's June 1983 today. That was still June. It seemed like summer skipped the rainy season and was already coming around the corner. It was very abnormal, apparently. And if it was abnormal weather, that only comes around once in 100 years, but wasn't supposed to come in June of 1983. It wasn't so much of a big deal. It's inevitable. On the other hand, a sudden evening shower on the way home from school was more unpredictable than anything else. Every day had been in perfect harmony, as if it was all carefully planned. Felt like something good was going to happen this year. How should I put it? Like the feeling I get when I roll a 6 on the first throw of a board game. Start off with a huge lead. When it comes to a die, the more you roll it, the more the total average is out. We actually roll a die many times every day of our life. It's not like one stroke of luck is really a big deal to be overly happy with. The overlay stuff is fun. Also, I had no idea what the Higurashi is at this most dramatic water fight up here for so far. Good. Yeah, it's water fight was definitely something. But this is actually a horror visual novel series. Yeah, I've they do the thing to like sucker punch you. Yeah, it's yeah, it's coming at sort of like a thing of sort of like an in joke or whatever, as far as like of that I had to come up with or whatever. I think the past, because this is on the 6th volume / chapter, and I can't remember. It was maybe like the 3rd volume or whatever that was like do like an expression as far as like Higurashi vibes when something's about to take like a sudden terrible turn into like some really bad territory. Yeah, out here like it's like kids having a fun slice of life thing. Yeah, it's it is until it isn't. If I roll a 6 on my first throw, and 1 on the next throw, the total is 7. You believe in fate. Might say there's a higher possibility of 1 to come up on the die. Curious, we love a horror twist. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I have like all the previous things on YouTube, but there's so many. I will say the first volume of this on Higurashi, you can actually get it for free. On both on Steam and GOG, the first volume, which is still like several hours of content. You can never actually tell what number you will roll. That's what fate is all about. You might roll a 6 again. Chance of rolling a 6 twice in a row is 1 out of 36. If you look at each throw one by one, there's only a 1/6 chance of that miracle. Last wind chime Satoko put up yesterday was making a refreshing sound. trying to wonder whose perspective that might have been. It might have been Rika-chan's. Your next chapter. Or sub-chapter. Why do they have to call the different volumes chapters? Because then when I check about the little chapters, it keeps like going. Watching your videos is free. It's basically an audiobook, which is bonus. Oh, thank you. Much appreciated. I woke from my dream, still feeling excited. Must have had a very happy dream. I forgot what it was about. Felt as if there was a switch that automatically made me forget my dreams when I opened my eyes. All I could remember is that it was a happy dream. I looked at the ceiling and enjoyed the happy feeling for a while. It was Sunday today. Outside the window, I could hear morning birdsong that sounded totally different from what I heard on weekdays. The morning birdsong on weekdays sound like they're in a rush, as if they're telling me to hurry to school. But on Sunday, it's different. I could tell that the birds are singing simply because they want to tell everybody how great a morning it is. I even felt like the birds that sing on weekdays must be different birds from the ones that sing on Sunday. I wonder if there really are birds that only sing on Sunday. It sounds like a very luxurious job for some reason. It's a waste to listen to such a valuable birdsong when you're not quite awake. As I fully awaken, my normal, crude personality takes over, and I start feeling stupid to even think that there might be birds that sing only on Sunday. As I yawned and stretched, my blood started circulating through my entire body. It felt good. Oh. It was, but like, so every morning when I wake up, like, one of the first things I do is, like, I basically just down a cup of water. It's something I started doing it, like, in high school, and then just, it'll be, like, between 8 and 12 ounces just know what I do. Okay, I'm not the only one. Like, don't you just like, you get that, like, interesting sensation of, like, all your organs kind of, like, waking up when the water hits down? Morning water is the most refreshing. It is. Definitely is. Waking up the organ feeling. I turn over and look at the clock, which says it's past 10 a.m. Used to go to my cram school on Sunday at 10 a.m. That was before I moved to Hinamizawa. My parents made me go to several cram schools back then. I remember that the one I had to go to on the first and third Sundays of the month was the hardest one of all because I had to change trains several times to get there. And thank you for treating Darjeeling. I was never allowed to sleep in so late back then. My mom always woke me up early, that I didn't miss my classes. Probably why I've always dreamed of being able to wake up whenever I wanted on a Sunday. Needless to say, I don't feel like that way anymore now that I moved to Hinamizawa. After all, I can always sleep till noon on Sunday now. My life has changed completely since I moved here. Before I used to think living in the countryside would be really inconvenient. To be honest, I wasn't even interested in living here. It was only the first few days that I felt that way. Now I don't feel attached to life in the city or its conveniences. When I think about what part of my life in Hinamizawa I'm the most attached to, I'd have to say, probably my friends. Aw, it's so nice. Guess the reason why I'm being so sentimental is probably because I had so much fun yesterday in the water gun fight with all my classmates. Despite my age, I got so into it and had so much fun. Bet the kids in the city wouldn't be able to play like that. No. Should say they wouldn't even want to in the first place. They wouldn't even realize how exciting a simple water gun fight could be. I went downstairs and saw my parents watching a serious TV program, arguing about the topic together. First of all, telephone service charges in Japan are way too expensive because the state has a monopoly. But private companies are profit-oriented organizations. They're not exactly charitable. I wonder if they can maintain uniform service nationwide. The experts on TV were arguing about the same thing. Seems like there's a possibility the telephone service will get privatized. Too younger to understand how privatization could make things better. I can easily assume that people will start talking about privatizing the postal services in the near future too. Sorry, Sorry, it's just UPS crossed my brain and then I just kind of gave a shiver. I'll take anything over UPS. Maybe I'm just unlucky with UPS. Anyway. My parents were arguing about the topic fiercely, but they got along very well. Let's put it this way, they get along well and that's why they argue. I don't remember seeing them get along this well when we were living in the city. This is probably one of the things that got better since we moved to Hinamizawa. A cold relationship between parents doesn't bring any benefits to their kids. Oh, Keiichi, you're up early today. You want to eat breakfast? Honestly, I was right there with you. My brain went to a it's not you. I've had like some issues like with like just standard like postal service, but honestly, generally, especially considering like all the fact that their like budget, they don't get a good budget and stuff like that, like they are dang impressive. Like, listen, if everything could be as efficient as, it's like if the rest of the government could run as well as the USPS. It's seriously. People be keeping on top of things. Also, they would actually probably get the fund to USPS for one. Anyway. Now I just need a lame joke about Congress or something like that. Like those clowns in Congress. USPS for president. Exactly. What's the opposite of the opposite of progress? Congress. Haha. It's a good one. I know that. It's like my. Bad jokes are good jokes. Yes. Yup. Keiichi, you're early today. You want to eat breakfast? No thanks. I'm going out today, so I don't need anything. Are you going out with your friends? Is it those club activities that you always talk about? No, it's not a club activity today. The punishment for the game we played yesterday. Oh no. But what are we gonna walk in on? Oh my gosh. I looked at the clock and noticed it's time to meet Reina. Guess I spent too much time enjoying waking up late. Ran upstairs to get a change of clothes. I quickly changed and ran to the front door. Reina was chatting with my parents. I always feel uncomfortable when my parents talk to my friends. I'm afraid they'll say something embarrassing about me. They told Reina that I wet my bed until I was blank years old or something. She wouldn't wait until Monday to tell everybody in my school, or maybe even everybody in Hinamizawa. Hey Reina, good morning. Sorry for making you wait. Keiichi-kun, ha ha ha. Reina and my parents looked at me and laughed. I said good morning and they laughed. Did he forget to put on pants or something? I guess I was too late. My parents must have already told Reina some embarrassing secrets about me. My parents didn't tell her anything else, so I put on my shoes in a rush, pushed Reina out of the house. Oh, okay, they were just telling him, okay, that's why they left. My parents waved at us, smiling. Have a nice day. Reina-chan, please take care of Keiichi. Aw, don't worry. I'll take good care of Keiichi-kun. I have no idea why you'd have to do that. I don't need you to take care of me. I dragged Reina away from the house, and we were on our way. We rode our bicycle to the town of Okinomiya. It's a long way away. And it's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's an easy ride to the town because it's mostly downhill. But needless to say, it's a hard ride on the way back. I felt like Reina was giggling whenever she looked at me. I badly wanted to know what kind of embarrassing information my parents had fed her before I came downstairs. Do we think she's gonna blab it as soon as they meet with all the others? I tried to give her a new subject to talk about in order to get whatever she heard from my parents out of her mind. She better. How come you're so close to my folks? Well, you're very close, because we talk a lot. When do you talk to my parents? I've never seen you having a conversation. See your mother a lot at the grocery store. She's there a lot on special bargain and extra points day. Oh yeah, my mom keeps a close eye on those. She sticks notes like that on the refrigerator. They're always all about when she can get things cheaper. Whenever I see her at the store, we talk about what we're making for dinner that night, and we do the shopping together. A few days ago, she told me that curry sauce was on sale, that she was going to have curry and rice for dinner that night. I did the same. I remember we had curry and rice the day before yesterday. You had curry and rice that day too, huh? Yeah. You had pork curry, didn't you? Pork was on sale that day. Your mom and I both bought some. And when I was eating my curry at home, I knew you were having the same dinner. Aw. So she knows what I'm eating for dinner almost every day. It didn't bother me. I did kind of feel embarrassed. I usually see your father with your mother at the grocery store. Your parents get along very well, huh? Huh. Yeah, they like to go grocery shopping together. I think they're a good couple for their age. I think it's very important that your parents get along well. It's cute that they still go grocery shopping together. That's enough about my parents. What about yours, Reina? They get along well? Yeah, they do. They're always hugging and kissing. So, aw, I feel like there's no room for me in the house. Her parents are a lovey-dovey couple, huh? I've never met Reina's mother, but I imagine she's just like Reina. Could easily imagine her mother going crazy about the spot her husband missed when shaving, because it looks so cute to her, like sesame seeds on white rice. You must love it to touch her husband's chubby stomach because it feels so soft. Funny how easy I could imagine her mother doing those things. Haha. So funny. I'm curious about your mother now. I'm going to go to your house next time and meet your mother. That doesn't sound suspicious at all. He's gonna say something. It's gonna immediately. I know this game. I know this. What? No. Talk to my mother. It's only fair that I talk to yours too, isn't it? Oh, but my mom isn't as interesting a person as you think. She's normal and boring. I can even picture how she looks. I know it. She looks just like you, doesn't she? What? No, she doesn't. She doesn't look like me at all. And why are you acting so weird? Your reaction tells me everything. Anyway, I'm really interested in your mother now. Going to see her sometime. Be prepared. Okay, listen. This is... How? No way. If they do come to my house, I'll be so mad at you. Your daughter has been a great friend to me. No, wait. It'd be more fun if I say something like, I've been seeing your daughter and I'm serious about her. Please. I'll come to my house. I'll tell Michan and the others the stories from when you were little. Exactly. What kind of stories are you talking about exactly? Well, the one I heard from your mother is about when you were 4 years old, and the other one is about the slide when you were about 6 years old. And another one is about when you were... You got me, Rita. I'll never get within a 100-meter radius of your house as long as you live. Thank you. Damn it, Mom. I'll remember this. We arrived at the station. The place we were going today is right near there. It's a restaurant called Angel Mort. You were meeting up with the others there. Oh no. Oh, thank you for the fluid check. I was surprised when I saw the restaurant. It's usually a normal and quiet restaurant. Today there are many people in front of it. Okay, now it's gonna get suspicious. It's also there was a punishment game. And with this group's punishment games, ooh. It's gonna be cosplay involved. I know it. They didn't look like they were waiting in line to get inside. It looked more like they were just loitering around. This crowd is having to do with it. should just line up and go inside like normal people. Wow, what's going on? So many people here. Bring out the yes. No, not that punishment game. I don't think the game's gonna do that to us so soon. Of course I say that and that raises a flag. The restaurant has a big event today. I heard that many people are coming from far away. There's a flag saying Dessert Festa in front of the restaurant. I heard that Angel Mort holds events like this several times a year. And a lot of people come to attend from all over. Today, only people who have a ticket can get into the restaurant, and one ticket allows up to 4 people to get in. I see, but these people are waiting for friends who have a ticket. Not exactly. Some people have tickets, but don't have 4 people to go with. So you're saying that these people are just here to find someone who would like to share their empty seats. That time, a crowd of people roared in excitement. What was going on? This guy has a ticket! He's trying to get inside alone when he can bring 3 more with him. How rude. Please let me join you. Let me join you. I'll honor you with a rare Angel Mort trading card. I'd come with Front Field's newest summer cat issue, and its limited edition book. I'll give you the beta version of Higurashi with a mode that lets you change everyone's outfits. Wait a second. Hold up. Dave, stop it. Make a deal with me for a modded version of G's figure. I'll give you 10,000 yen in real money. You fool! RMT is prohibited. Report. Account banned. I like the they did. I mean, it's been 6 volumes in, so doing the 4th wall joke there. I have no idea what they're talking about. The fans of this restaurant are a little scary, huh? Hello, Shooty. You're doing well. Anyway, what about our ticket? There are 5 of us. How are we all going to get in? Shh. You know, Mi-chan's family owns this restaurant, just so you know. Mion is so cool sometimes. Miranda makes a fist and gets all fired up. Well, let's go. We're going to dash through the crowd without stopping. It seems like the best course of action, actually. Okay. We nodded at each other. Since we are a group of 2 at present, it looked like we had 2 more seats to share. These people might try mobbing us in order to get a share. Crouched down, getting ready to run. Because tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. Crowd of people seem to notice us. Look at them. They're going to force their way through, and he's trying to fill a booth alone with his girlfriend. How reprehensible. Going to sit with them and course their lovey-dovey mood. Fight back to the last round. Show them the iron will of the Germans. I'm not commenting. Damn, they were going to tackle us. They do whatever it takes to stop us from getting inside the restaurant. Today is the day Mi-chan and the others suffered their punishment. If we can't get inside, our victory yesterday will have been in vain. They're all serving as waitresses, aren't they? In costumes, for sure. Well, oh no, it would be the Angel Mort costumes. I can't let that happen. We exhausted ourselves to obtain that victory. To watch our friends undergo the punishment is our right and our duty as well. But no matter how cool we sound, what we're really after is one thing. Aww, can't wait to see how Satoko-chan and Rika-chan look. I'm taking them home with me. Hey you, young couple, share your empty seats with us all nice and quiet like. Yeah. We won't let you go through. Won't allow you to use your ticket for yourselves. You have to share empty seats with us. They reach their hands toward us like zombies. They gradually got closer and closer. We're actually taking it easy, though. In fact, I'd say the situation was rather enjoyable. Haha, like we're still in the middle of the game we played yesterday. Yeah, it's getting fun. Let's kick their asses. Yep, roger that. A lot easier to fight against them than against Mi-chan and Satoko-chan, you know? You know? Indeed. I'd say with even 20 to 30 of them, it's still easier than fighting against the other club members. They don't have enough people to stop us. Haha. Great, let's do this. Yeah. Our enemies number about 20 to 30. They wanted to stop us. They should have gotten 10 times more people than that. Oh yeah. Most of the music we've heard so far is like, or a good chunk of it has been, or, I mean, like, it seems like half of it's been, is new to this volume. Welcome to Angel Mart. Today we're holding a special event. Do you have a ticket? We don't have a ticket, but we're told to give our names. Morena Ryugu and Keiichi Maibara. Let me check our list. Please wait for a moment. Seems like many fans of this restaurant aren't normal people. Bet they try to get in with lies or fake tickets. No wonder this waste may just make sure to check the list. Anyway, those people were just too freaky back there. There's no way that normal people could get through them without a struggle. You might be right. But nobody can stop me. Aww. Sure did them in. Do you use your elbows or knees? You hit them right in the middle of their faces. You're a scary person. The way Reina swept them off their feet with super fast invisible jabs, it's incredible. It even gave me a chill just thinking about it. That's because they tried to sabotage my chance to take my girls home with me. They must look so cute today. I'm taking all of them home with me. When you're in cute mode, nobody stands a chance. I sure hope they admitted their loss after getting beaten up so that badly. You did great too, Keiichi-kun. At first, I thought you'd be engulfed by them, but then they became all quiet and let you through with tears in their eyes. What did you do to them? Nothing really. I just told them that I'd get into the restaurant and make sure to see everything they wanted to see, and I told them, you might have to shed tears now, but I believe you can get a ticket next time. That's all I said. They seemed to understand me. So good at that sort of thing. You know, making people listen to you. Yeah, you sure are club's magician of words. They're all calling me that now. Can't you please come up with a better name? Haha. I'll think about it. Reina laughs loudly. Thank you so much for waiting. I confirmed your names in the list. I'll take you to your table. Please, follow me. The waitress led us to our seats. The restaurant was completely packed today, made for a cheerful but sort of crazy atmosphere. All the customers in the restaurant were very unique people, just like the ones loitering around outside. There was an aura of excitement in the store. It also smelled a bit sweaty. They were also talking excitedly using special terms that I don't understand. Again, just like the people outside. Angel Mort is all about the uniform. Taste food with your tongue, but in Angel Mort, you can taste it with your eyes, too. Where's the waitress with the big, heavy pair of belts? I don't see her today. It begins. Need to check the shift roster. Like girls with big have to come on Tuesdays and Thursdays after 5 p.m. Like girls, you have to come on Fridays after 5 p.m. I regret coming here today. And at the same time, I was really glad that I didn't lose the game yesterday. This punishment might be a bit easier for the girls, but as a guy, if I had to undergo this punishment today, I would have been kicked and punched by these crazy customers because they would have been burning with anger. Honestly, it would be better than that if it's versus alternative response. Somehow getting even more excited. Be scarred for life. Let me explain. I didn't come here just to eat lunch with Raina today. The punishment is as follows. The losers have to wear a costume that was randomly chosen and help with the event at Angel Mort as a waitress. I knew it! I knew it! But wait, does that mean they're not all wearing the Angel Mort uniform? I hope so. The winners can enjoy eating desserts, receiving service from the losers. When this punishment was announced, I'd actually prepared myself for the punishment because I thought I'd lose the game like always. I was losing a lot recently, so I didn't think I could win. I assume Reina felt the same way. I could imagine Reina and I would do so well as to win. You're great, Keiichi Maibara. You've made me proud. Everybody started shouting, clapping their hands, and whistling for joy. I don't blame them. They came here just for the event at Angel Mort. None of them expected to see the waitresses wearing different costumes like this. Meep. Ah. Rika-chan, I'm taking you home with me. Wait, calm down, Reina. You can't take her home yet. She has to finish her punishment first. Rika-chan appears with glasses of water and wet napkins on a tray. They drew lots to decide on the costumes. Rika-chan's costume is the uniform of Angel Mort, who we use regularly for punishments. Hello. Welcome to Angel Mort. Rika-chan put the glasses of water and the wet napkins in front of Reina and me. Ah, so adorable. I'm taking you home with me. Reina raised her weird voice, and everybody in the store following suit. I'm taking her home with me. Everybody started shouting the phrase. Where I knew. They were surrounding our table, trying to burn the scene of Rika-chan serving customers in their minds. Markiplier, I need your help. Please give us your words of wisdom on this.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. But I've considered it.
Thank you, Markiplier. I'm glad you like it. Aw, Rika-chan, you look great in that uniform. It's embarrassing to have everybody look at me like that. Something different about the uniform, though. Good eyes, my Bara-san. Allow me to explain. Tomita-kun, our underclassman, pushed his way through the crowd. Oh, Tomita-kun. Okamura-kun, too. I didn't know you guys had a ticket. It's not important right now, my Bara-san. The important thing here is the uniform Furude-san is wearing today. As you already know, the uniforms of Angel Mort are designed to bring out the most of a mature woman's features. Therefore, it's normally required to have certain bodily proportions to wear this uniform. In that sense, this is the least compatible uniform for Fruitisan because she's still at an early stage of development. Plus, the other problem was that the restaurant couldn't find a uniform in Fruitisan's size. That's why it was necessary to try various measures in order to facilitate our punishment. That is, to wear the uniform of Angel Mort. Therefore, they came up with the idea to use a school swimsuit. They created an impossible combination of said swimsuit and the uniform of Angel Mort. It's so eccentric that even God couldn't see it coming. In this costume, Fruitisan now has an overwhelming attack power, far beyond her normal statistics. She also gained elemental enchantment status impairment, a huge increase to her critical hit rate, and on top of that, she's also given increased invincibility time during power-ups. You understand how great this is? You do, don't you? Let me put it in a way, like what Ryuko-san always says, I'm taking her home with me. No, you can't. I'm the one who's taking her home. But I understand exactly how you feel. I'm taking her home with me. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun held Raiden's shoulders. They shouted the phrase in their excitement. The phrase had spread throughout the entire store and was now out of control. Someone better call the riot police. Make sure to have tear gas at the ready. Break out the tear gas and rubber bullets. That may not be enough. Anyway, Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun surprised me sometimes. For their age, they're so good at giving passionate speeches, they'll probably make it big in the future. Where are Mi-chan and Satoko-chan? Can't wait to see them. That time, the crowd sent up another roar. I hear Mion telling them to let her through. Don't remember what kind of costume she picked. Kestal! What's going on? Wow! Ameda-kun. Of course you're here because this is Dirt Fest and you're a dessert maniac. Hey, how have you been doing? Doesn't matter how I am. More importantly, what is that? What's going on here? Ameda-kun was in a state of great excitement. Thick veins were displayed on his forehead. The source of that excitement appears through the crowd. There's no turning back. I guess I've gotta do what I've gotta do. Welcome to Angel Mort. Here is your ultra-rare cheesecake. Leon appeared with a cake on a tray. Oh. Or Don't Call Me Chicken is missing this. Could be very excited. Mion appeared with a cake on a tray. Now I remember what she picked for a costume. Aww. Mi-chan, you look so cute too. I can't believe I'm doing this. I was going to make Kei-chan wear it. Yes. Costume. And where was the costume shop located that you got this? Arasan, this costume looks extraordinary too. Plus, because you know in person, and because she's the leader of the club who never lost any games in the past, and also a class president who's always perfect at everything, you can enjoy this 500%. Gotta say, like, yep. Even the class president, Doesn't know what losing is, can't escape the punishment. Your club is so terrifying. I mean, basically that means she's wearing just a different top than, she was during the water gun fight. That still leaves where they got the top from. I just, no. What? Please explain what is going on here, Kik. I thought we were friends because we shared a huge parfait together. How could you not tell me about such a wonderful club? Can't believe you didn't tell me about this. If I knew about it, I wouldn't have joined the baseball team. Where's the reset button for my life? The crowd roars in excitement. What a great club. I've never heard of a club as wonderful as this in my life. Oh, can't join our club. Only people who live in Hinamizawa can join. What? Then I have to move my certificate of residence to Hinamizawa at once. Stop there, Reina. Population of Hinamizawa might double by tomorrow. Anyway, this is a beautiful punishment, Kay. Costumes that make one look beautiful are like decorations on desserts. A shortcake, for example, it's just a sponge cake if you take away its decoration. But if you decorate it with whipped cream, to enjoy the wonderful and mysterious harmony that layers and layers of beautiful decoration create, you can enjoy it with your eyes and your tongue. That's why this combination of a sailor suit, hairstyle, school uniform, and gym shorts is wonderful. It's the baseball guy from Volume 3. That's weird about desserts. They're both ordinary school clothes, and each is tasteful in its own right. Let's put that aside for now. A school uniform and gym clothes are in the same category, namely, school clothes, but they've never been combined together. It's just like a strawberry daifuku. Nobody thought they taste good together. The combination actually worked and brought an unexplored and unknown taste to this world. Hey, Chan, he's calling you Kay. I didn't know you were friends with this pervert. I'm trying my best not to be friends with him.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Yeah. That fits, sadly. Chris Hansen is just standing outside the restaurant, just waiting for people to come out. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Have a seat. Have a seat. What is it? A guy tumbled in and landed on his feet elegantly. It was Coach. Oh no. The trouble has been doubled. We should have been prepared for it. A guy tumbled in and landed on his feet elegantly. It was Coach. How dare you? How dare you, my Bara-san? Coach glared at me in anger. He was breathing hard with a scary expression on his face. What do you mean? What did I do? This is what I'm talking about. Bang, bang, bam, bam. The moment of his scream, 3 different metal buckets fell on his head, one after another, and a Chinese wok finished the job. Well, I was prepared for this the moment my punishment was chosen. To see Satoko in a maid costume is like a matter of life and death to you. Aww. I love Satoko-chan's costume. It's so cute. I'm taking her home with me. See, so that one is actually just looks cute, okay? So it's like, oh. Like, you know, it would be like, maybe like a cute trick-or-treat or something. I don't know. Like, go to cute, like, trick-or-treat or something, or Halloween costume. Like, oh. Some Halloween candy. Get the full-size chocolate bars. Not the party ones. And not the bite-sized ones, the actual full-size ones. I won't let you do that. I'm going to take her home with me, or my name is not Kyosuke Irie. No, 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 no. You try to sabotage my chance to take her home with me, you get these. How? Once Reina goes into cute mode, she becomes merciless. The first murder of this I think the first murder of this volume has just happened. If a rock tried to sabotage her chance to take her favorites home with her, he'd break it into pieces. If it was a river, she'd fill it up with sand. If it was the sea, she'd split it in half like Moses did and walk through it. What? Coach got up on his feet like a zombie. A zombie. He couldn't believe he could still get up after getting hit by all of her super fast attacks. That doesn't work on me. Oh, ouch. No, that doesn't work either. You see, I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. I'll get up no matter how many times I get beaten, as long as there's a maid in front of me. Why? Because it's a dream of mankind. No matter what, I'm taking her home. Oh. Nure was down on the floor, his body twitching. Reina was just hit with a barrage at point. Reina just hit him with a barrage at point blank range. Somebody come get their child. She beating me. Yep. This game breaks me in so many different ways, and I should say this series. Anyway, this really is a sight to behold. So glad I won the game. At the same time, I'm scared to imagine how terrible it would have been if I lost. In a future volume, we're gonna get a version of events where he loses, aren't we? Anyone want to take that bet? Place your bets. We're gonna see it at some point. In a future volume. I just know it, because there's 2 left. Well, technically 3 more. There's 2 ones proper, and then like some bonus extra stories. This is absurd. Well, I have to wear this for the punishment. I cannot take it any longer. Totoko, your costume is a lot more decent than this old man's. I think wearing a maid costume is decent. You're completely messed up. Reina, stop drooling and sit here. It's the winner's right to be served by the losers, remember? Aw. Don't know which one I'm taking home with me today. Oh, ha. By the way, for those that, let's see, we started doing all these back in October. Beginning of October. Yeah. I was about to say I'd imagine would be finished before October, but I feel like that's raising a flag. It's like on akin with saying, you know, it's like a character in a movie saying, I'm 2 weeks away from retirement. And he just paid off his mortgage. Hey, waitress, what's your recommendation today? How about a knuckle sandwich? Ahem. He's a professional. What about this fruit parfait? The cream puffs are very good too. You can get refills of water as many times as you want for free. Raina's nose was bleeding because she got to keep the waitresses in cute costumes all to herself. I actually thank her for acting crazy like that, because it made me look calmer than I really am. So excited as her, and my nose would bleed too if I wasn't careful. I now understand what a slack-jawed smile means. I already used the Markiplier one. Hey, Rika-chan. Hey, Rika-chan. I mean, waitress-san. Could you feed me? Sure. Satoko, can you feed me too? And Mion, you massage my shoulders. Open your mouth. I hate this. Hey! I told you to open your mouth. Damn it. Why do I have to massage your shoulders? This old man's service is going to cost you. Gulp. The audience gasped at the sight. But Angel Mort has never had an evening as exciting as this one. Every table had 4 people squeezed in together, but only Reina and myself were at this table. 3 waitresses in cute costumes were exclusively serving us. They were giving us shoulder massages and feeding us desserts too. This had never happened before at Angel Mort, and it never will again. Now Cage should definitely raise a flag on himself. See, they're waitresses. Then I'd like to have a glass of water. Their customers want to get a piece of the wonderful treatment and patted Mion on the shoulder. Hey, I'm sorry, but I'm not a waitress. Ask the wheel waitress over there for a glass of water, okay? What? You're not a waitress? Can't serve me? Sorry, I bunked the mic, the boom, the pop filter. Just bunked the mic. Sorry. That's right, we're not waitresses. We have no obligation to provide service to you. To you ruffians. Satoko, me and I here for the winners. Meep. It's not fair. All of a sudden, Kameda-kun screams, starting to blame me. What do you mean it's not fair? Not fair that Kei-san can do such wonderful club activities and I can't. Not fair, it's not fair. It's just not fair. Hold on, we took a certain risk to earn this right. So this is fair. We don't think it's fair either. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun were standing behind Kameda-kun. First of all, you only won the game yesterday because we killed Mion-san for you. We felt sorry for you always having to suffer punishments. We let you shoot us. You should appreciate our sacrifice. Oh, really? This is getting interesting. What do you think, Kei-chan? What do you mean? What do you want me to do? Well, Kameda-kun, Tomita, and Okamura, why don't you challenge Kei-chan and Reina for the position of the winners? What? Mi-chan, what do you mean by that? What do you mean? They defeated many fighters and won a massive victory yesterday. I'm pretty sure a battle against these guys would be trivial, right? Kameda-kun clapped his hands with glee. Gonna have to wear the costume, or they thought, hasn't he? I don't know. The assumption would be that he would actually lose against those other 3 folks. Tomina-kun and Okamura nodded in agreement. I looked fired up already. Damn it. I have to fight against them here? Now that I think about it, the game was a tie. It'd be fun to have the finale here with a few extra fighters. Well, maybe he will. Oh my gosh. You lose the game, you join in on the punishment. Damn it. I hate it when you make it sound persuasive. What do you think, Reina? I'm fine with it because I'm going to win. I'm taking them home with me. Wonder what kind of costume you'll have to wear. I'm taking all of you home with me. Sure is motivated. You could see Kamita-kun was ready to fight for the ticket to paradise at Angel Mort. The 2 underclassmen were also eager to have a chance to fight against the members of the club for the first time. Kyosuke Irie. Kyosuke Irie reporting to volunteer for the game too. Yeah. Well, well, well. Okay, let's start the game with these members. Rain and Kei-chan, do you have any objections? I don't think you'd take an objection even if I had one. Well, don't you like to make the game interesting? It's now or never if you want to change your mind, Tomita-san and Okamura-san. As you already know, you'll have to undergo the punishment if you lose. Know that. We're men too. We've always wanted to fight against you. I've seen the many horrifying punishments we had to suffer. They still had the courage to join in. I had to admit, they have potential. Kameda, the evil lord of Angel Mort, sneered at the 2. I never thought I'd have the chance to fight against you, Kei-san. I'm going to fight fair and square this time. I didn't expect to fight you here at Angel Mort either. I'm pretty sure you'll be an even tougher enemy to defeat here than in the baseball game. Coach Irie, the Count of Maids, laughed like he was afraid of nothing. Well, I'll show you how serious an adult can be. And today here at Angel Mort, I'm going to have a harem that is for me alone. Haha, I won't let any of you win. Oh. All right, I'm ready. I can't keep complaining. Mion, what kind of game are we playing? Hehehe, that's the spirit. Make way, everybody. Waitress, please bring it over. In the kitchen, the wheel waitresses are standing by with mini desserts on trays. Looks like the game is going to be either a speed eating or a competitive eating contest. Manager, sure we can do this? Yeah, go ahead and bring them desserts. The more interesting, the better. I want this event to be exciting as possible. The waitresses checked with their manager and started bringing in the desserts. The 2 of my underclassmen, Kameda-kun, Coach, Rin, and I sat at a table together. A horrific amount of desserts was brought before us. I wanted to enjoy watching the cute waitresses placing desserts on the table, but right now I was in a fighting mood. I had no time for that. The audience surrounding our table seemed to have grown excited too. I bet it didn't even cross their minds that they would see a serious battle at Angel Mort today. But they didn't care, as long as it's fun to watch. Listen up. This is a competitive eating contest. Whoever eats the most within the time limit wins. We already know how heavy each dessert is, so we'll calculate the total weight of desserts you ate after the game is over. Whoever ate the most weight will win. When the words competitive eating came up, Kameda-kun smiled evilly. Damn it, Kameda-kun had the advantage. Mion-san, can you count the 2 of us as one person because we always fight together? Huh? Yeah, that's fine. You're always together. I'll permit it. Damn it, having two stomachs for competitive eating contest was an absolute advantage too. What about you, Reina? I'm sure a competitive eating contest is a bit of a hard game for a girl. No worries. It means I can take these adorable girls home with me. I'd even swallow a table. I underestimated her. Reina can overcome physical impossibilities once she goes into cute mode. She might even be able to eat food that's heavier than herself. Coach, what about you? Are you good at competitive eating? My Bara-san. As long as there's a maid and a condition that I need to meet in order to get her. Nothing is impossible to me. I could see a black aura surrounding him, which I found very intimidating. The glint from the eyes that shone from behind his lenses were sharp enough to pierce an iron board. Damn it, he was in maid mode, which is as equally as strong as Reina's cute mode. Shit, I was the only one without any advantages. Are you ready? Set? Go! I wasn't ready emotionally, but Mion started the game without hesitation. Damn it, there was no turning back. I had to do this. There were many kinds of desserts before us. Some were easy to eat, and some were not. So I had to get the dessert that's the easiest to eat before anybody got it. What about the yogurt parfait? Ooh-yah. Of course, everybody seemed to be thinking the same thing. Everybody reached out for the same dessert as fast as they could. A white light flashed in front of our eyes and the parfait just appeared. My hands clashed with the others in midair. Haha, you're too slow. I got it first. Aw. Reina took the parfait. It was literally as fast as lightning. Damn it, I knew it. There's no way I can beat Reina in the opening move. Reina took the parfait like a frog catching a fly with its tongue and swallowed it in a single gulp. She did all that in seconds. She's usually gentle and calm, but she's a totally different person right now. Really, it's terrifying. I see. I now understand why people say women always have room for dessert. But in the special environment of Angel Mort, Tomato-kun wasn't far behind Reina. Oh, thank you very much for the blue check, North Kels. He grabbed a fruit parfait and swallowed it as if drinking beer from a mug. He looked very dynamic. Burp. Kei-san, you're wasting your time. You don't even have a 1% chance to defeat me in a battle at Angel Mort. Just watch me. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun looked at the extraordinary techniques Rain and Kameda-kun are displaying, but they seemed to be very calm. They knew their advantage. As long as they kept a steady pace, they could eat more and eat faster than anybody else, because there are two of them. Rain and Kameda-kun were eating very fast. They might slow down in the middle, but this was going to be an unpredictable race. Son of a bitch, I won't lose this game. I shoved my dessert into my mouth and kept eating. I just kept eating. Damn it, my mouth got extremely cold when I swallowed a ball of ice cream. How could the others do this so easily? Here's an idea. I should melt it first. I could use some kind of heat to melt it first and then drink it down. Plus, it would also be easier for my stomach to take when it's not cold. But how should I melt it? It'd take too long to use body heat, and I don't have any other source of heat with me. Oh, waitress, can I order something? I'd like to have hot coffee. Bring it to me in a big pot instead of a cup. Ouch. My Bara-san, you're too slow. I also got the idea to melt it with heat. No, damn it. He was one step ahead of me. I could order hot coffee too. I'd still be one step behind him. I'd have to come up with something to melt my ice cream faster than hot coffee. Calm down, my Barakarichi. Think hard. Keiichi-kun held his head, screamed that line, and bent his neck backwards. I think it's like this. Oh wait, did we switch perspective? I think we did, so I think now we're from Reina's. This means I have to change voices though. When he gets like this, he He always speaks everything that's on his mind. Very fun to listen to. But I had to concentrate. I needed to win this game. I was going to keep eating as much as I can and take all of the adorable girls home with me. I was having so much fun. I was so thrilled that I felt like my heart was about to burst. I might have been acting totally uncute. I didn't care, exactly because I was having so much fun. Nichan always comes up with such extraordinary games. Toko-chan loves to play pranks. Rika-chan is very sneaky. It's impossible to hate her. Keiji-kun is always so funny. I enjoy every day. Wish I could express how much I really do enjoy them better than by saying how happy I am. Sometimes I even feel anxious because I enjoy every day so much. There's as much misfortune and pain as there is happiness and pleasure in this world. And I know very well that they all come to you regardless of how hard you try. You'll have happy days regardless of how hard you try. You'll have unhappy days regardless of how hard you try. That doesn't mean that you don't need to try hard. I can try to make my happy days even happier and last longer. The same way, I can try to make my unhappy days happier and end faster. I struggle very hard to achieve that. That's why I'm going to enjoy the happy days I have now, much as I can. Must not take them for granted, because they won't last forever. They won't. One day, all of a sudden, these happy days will come to an end. I know it. That's why I was trying to enjoy the happiness I received today. I wouldn't regret it, even if the world ended tomorrow. I noticed my hands stopped moving while I was thinking about these things. Spending my time with my friends, I feel so happy that my heart might burst. I even love doing the punishments. They're fun for me. I have friends. I have a place where I fit in. I have time in which to be myself. I have a me that I love. Love everybody. I love Mi-chan, Satoko-chan, Rika-chan, and Keiichi-kun. I love everybody in my class, and everybody in Okonomiya. Oh, Reina stopped eating. I guess you went too fast in the beginning. Well, Kimura, this is our chance to defeat Ryuga-san. All of you, you're just wasting your time. You think you could defeat me at Angel Mart? You're too naive. Reina-san, come on. I'll never forgive you if you let Coach win. I'm not going to let anybody win. I'm not going to let anybody win. I can even swallow the Pacific Ocean if you ask me to. What's wrong, Rain? Are you getting full? I guess you just have to watch my come-from-behind victory now. Am I right, everyone? Yeah! Reina, what's wrong? I had left the table. Excuse me. I have to go to the bathroom. She's so happy. I didn't care who won or lost this match. Of course, it's more fun when I go crazy to try and win. But I could never be happier than this. If I could seal this happiness in a piece of crystal, I'd carry it around with me in my pocket. I'd use it as a heat to ward off the cold of hard days that are certain to come to me. I know they will. You're not truly happy when you feel happiness. When you're bored with happy days and don't even realize that you're happy, that's when you've achieved true happiness. You only truly feel happiness when you're in a freezing cold environment. That's the only time your heart can feel the warmth of even a small happiness. On my way to the bathroom, I saw a waitress and a customer arguing at the register. The customer was a woman. The waitress was trying to explain that the lady needed a ticket to get to a seat because the restaurant was holding an event today. But the lady, saying she didn't know, still trying to get a seat. For a while, the store manager was called and started apologizing to the lady. It's your fault. You should have put a note outside that said we needed a ticket to come in or something. Expect me to know when there's no mention of it. Lady's eyes met mine. I guessed who it might be when I heard the voice, so I was prepared. Is it her mother? Oh, Raina-chan. Expect to see you here. Oh, hello. What a coincidence. I held out my hand for a high five. She gave me one. Listen, Raina-chan, they're so mean. They're saying that I can't get a seat because I don't have a ticket. It seems that way. Well, I can't do anything about it, can I? Can still buy some cakes to take home, yeah? Yes, of course, you can choose anything you want from our selection. The store manager gave her a fake smile and led her to the showcase. I'd like this cute one. I think you like simple ones like shortcakes. Hey, Raina-chan, what do you like? What? Me? Buying me one? Oh. You really like cakes, huh? Get whatever you like. And I don't know. I'll take a shortcake as well. Really? So many other cute ones. Everything looks so good, but shortcakes look the best. Oh. Okay, give me 2 shortcakes and 1 petite trianon. We're taking them home. Imitated the smile I usually made. I replied with the same big smile. Then I smelled the strong scent of her perfume and it made me sneeze. Oh, are you sick? Mina-san's perfume and I never seem to get along. Maybe a sister? Although maybe a stepmother or something. Then we got a new tip. Read this. Rena, height 168 centimeters, bust 89, weight 60, height 87. Hobbies, I'm interested in indoor gardening. Want to make tea with the herbs I grow. Always enjoy funny and interesting stories. Should go out somewhere next time in private. Gentlemen's Club Blue Mermaid. Private manager. Rena Mamiya. That sounds like the woman. I bet that's the woman from, gonna go out on a limb and say, Reina's dad has a mistress. Because the stuff was familiar, but not that familiar as like with the parent. But they obviously knew each other quite well. And they mentioned even taking desserts home. And the last name and the surnames aren't the same. Like in stepmom type deal too. Yeah, or maybe just like a girlfriend. Yeah, so either like the stepmom or girlfriend, I guess potentially. I'm trying to remember if in the previous volume Reina said anything about her mom, because now that I think about it. Maybe maybe her mother passed away and she doesn't really like to talk about it? That might be one thing. And then, so that's just this girlfriend or whatever. Okay. Character who didn't want... This is the character who didn't want the guy to come over to meet her mom. Yeah. Yeah, Reina Ryugu. So, and she is the type of character that the type of individual I could definitely see of like not wanting if her mom had passed away or whatever, not wanting to talk about that, or her friends might feel bad or something like that, or she's not treated different or anything like that. I could definitely see her doing that. I think that's all we're gonna do of Higurashi. We won't end the stream, but call it for Higurashi. Because normally we do end up doing like either just like 2 or 3 chapters a stream. You'll enjoy that though, and we'll definitely the next time we'll be doing Higurashi is on Sunday at 8 p.m. Central Time. On my schedule now, that's actually listed on Twitch, will be accurate. So I don't think I changed it, but I because we take breaks in between volumes of Higurashi, so it doesn't get boring or whatever. Helps keep it fresh, funky fresh. Okay. Enjoyed that. And to the folks watching us on YouTube, I hope you'll have a good one.